welcome to the Computer Programming 1. So in this module, this is module 3, I'm going to be looking at control structures, which is decision making and loops. Decision making and loops. So my name is Dr. John Wendy, and so I'm here to teach you guys decision making and loops. Okay, now the objective here is to make students understand the if else, the nested if, to make students understand the switch case, and also to understand the while loop, the for loop, the do while loop if applicable, right? And also the nested loops. Now let's look at the control structure and decision making. Now decision making allows your program to take different action based on condition. Decision making allows your program to take different actions based on conditions. Now, this is a good example here. So where we have the if condition. Now, if this statement is true, then it will execute this. It will execute the instruction inside this code block. So the code executes if condition is true. Now, let's look at an example here. So let's do an example. So I'll go to my stuff. My Visual Studio. So let's use example 3.c. And on 3.c, so I include stdioh. So I have the int main. Now let's do an example. So if I have int age, so I have a variable called age, which is type 2, right? Now I want to bring a condition, right? I want to check if age is less than or equal to 33, then what? If age is less than or equal to 33, then display. Print f. So since an integer, so I need to put this so I can print this. So printf age, then return 0. So if age is less than or equal to 33, print this. Now let's look at this. Our age is actually 32, right? So it's 32 less than or equal to 33. Now this is false. So this particular instruction will print out nothing, right? So let's make it dynamic. If I have age here, right? So let me use printf please enter your age. Now let's just try a simple code that if the child is not equal to 18, then that child is still a teenager, right? So let's do this. Then I will scan. So this is just to take user inputs. This function here, scan. So I have to take user inputs. So by doing this and age, right? So once the age is being entered here, now if age is less than or equal to 18, then print the child is a teenager, because let's use assume is a male, because he is the age here years old, right? So let's run this and see how it works, right? So if I put gcc example 3.c, then the output example 3.exe. so this example 3.exe. So please enter the age. Let's put 34, right? Nothing happens because 34 is actually less than or equal to 18. So assuming I run this again, enter age, I put 12, then the child is a teenager because he is 12 years old, right? But the reason why that isn't the cue because there's no else. So assuming there's a else here, right? Then I'll print the child is not a teenager anymore because he is -years old. That is when, even if I run this, so even if I put 45 here, it says please enter your age 45, right? Now, okay, let me just save this. I didn't actually save it, right? So I have to package this and then so if I say 45, so the child is not a teenager because he's 45 years old. Now if I'm running this again, if I put 16, the child is a teenager because he's 16 years old. Now if I put run again, let's put 18. The child is a teenager because he's 18 years old because 18 is equal to 18. Now you can see how it works, right? So that is the decision, right? This is just a simple decision making. So you're passing instruction to the computer because computer is actually just a machine that takes in input data, processes the input data, and returns output. So you are the one as human that's supposed to pass an intelligent instruction to the computer to process it, right? So this instruction here is just saying we're trying to get the children that are below 18 to be a teenager and children that are above 18 to be not to be a teenager. So that's what we're trying to do here. Now let's look at some slide here, right? So I've explained this one. I've also explained the house, right? Now let me just go straight to this. Before we go this, let me do another one before we look at this, right? Now let's do another one. Let's try to, let me save this. So example 4, let's see. So include stdio. Okay. Int main. Okay, so I'm trying to write. Let me just use a comment here. So toggle line comments. So write a program to get the lowest number between 3 numbers. Okay, so I'm going to write a program to get lowest number between 3 numbers. So the first thing I need to do, so I'm going to write it like a basic program, right? So I'll write int a, which is the first variable. Let's say this variable is holding 45. Then in b, which is the second variable, let's say this variable is holding 56. Then in c, with the third variable, now this is holding 22. Remember that it is a computer, right? So you as human, you need to write the instructions so the computer will understand lowest. But we as human, if you're looking at this, right, you will just know that c is actually the lowest. It's holding the lowest number. The computer doesn't understand it that way. You need to pass in the instruction so the computer can understand that c is actually the lowest number. So how do you do that? So you need to have a decision here, right? So let me make my first decision. So if a is less than b and a is less than c, so what happens, right? So what happens? Printf. So d. So printf. I'll print age. I'll print a. Sorry. So this is the smallest number, right? Now I can decide to have another if like this. If like this. So this one will be if b. If b is less than a and b is less than c, then print this is the smallest number, then print b. Then I have another one if c is less than a and c is less than b, then this is the smallest number, then print c. So let's run this. That is number 4. So gcc example 4.c output example 4.exe. So example 4.exe. So 22 is the smallest number, right? So just 22 is the smallest number because I've given instruction to this, right? So assuming I have 18 here, so it will say 18 is the smallest number. So it's still saying 22 because I need to recompile this. So I need to recompile this. So 18 is the smallest number. So you can see this is just a simple instruction. Everybody have your own instruction. I can decide to use the else if like this, right? And also else if like this, and then else there is the smallest number. Else there is no smallest number. So this is another way to write it, right? Let's say at the end I'm returning sorry, this is another way to write it, and then I'm returning 0. So let's save this, run this again. So you can see this is another way to write this stuff. So it depends on how you want to write it, right? So let's look at another example here. So we have another example here, which have the main method, and we have a variable called, which is holding -5. Now, if the norm, which is -5, if -5 is greater than 0, so -5 is not actually greater than 0, right? Since -5 is not greater than 0, so it will print out non-positive number, right? But how reach this is 5, it means 5 is greater than 0. So let's try this out and let's see what happens. So let's do example 6. Example 6 to C. Include stdio. Okay, so int main. Let's put int g equal to -5. So if g is greater than 0, what happens, right? So print f. Let me just take it straight up, right? So if g is greater than 0, so printf g, so get the number is not greater than 0. Alright, then I'll put my g. Okay, then else. Let me just copy this and paste it here. Now this is greater than 0. So if this is greater than 0, so this is greater than 0 and this is not greater than 0. So that's what it's supposed to be. Let me return 0 at the end. Okay, so let's try to run this. So I'll just go straight to this and change this one to 6. Then change this one to 6 with exe. Okay, it's giving me an error. Example 6. Okay, let me just run gcc example 6 dot c example 6 dot exe. Okay, then we have this example 6 dot exe. So -5 is not greater than 0, right? So we have already shown the answer before we run it, right? So let's look at the nested if. Now you can put an if inside another if for multiple condition, where we have the outer if and the inner if. So let's look at an example. So we're trying to get, so we're trying to get the even number for a particular number here. We want to find out if it's actually greater than 0 and if it's an even number, right? So let's try to do this. So let's do this example. Let's call it example 7. Let's see. Include std. Okay. Int main. Okay, so let's say you have the norm, which is 15, right? We have num equals 15. So if num is greater than 0, which is true, num is actually greater than 0, which is true, then what happens? So if num is greater than this, if it's true, then if, another if, which is a nested if, so if num modulus or remainder 2 is equal to 0, then what happens? So let's fix this. Is equal to 0, what happens? So you're going to print f oh so you're going to print f, then what will we print out? Let's print out the, if this is equal to, then this is an even number, then it is an even number. So let's try to make this dynamic. So I'll put in num here, so I have to scan f. So percentage d, then enter the num here, right? I want to make them so users can be able to like print in anything, right? You can enter any number here, right? So if num is greater than 0, if this is true, go to the next place here. Now if num modulus 2 is equal to 0, then what happens? Print num, that is a number, it's an even number, which is a num. Right? But if it's not an even number, it will not actually print out anything. Now, if this is not greater, you can put else here to print out something. But now, if this num is greater than 5, or else if it's not greater, it prints nothing, right? Because there's no else, right? So that is how it works. So this is the instruction part of the computers, right? There's no else, you didn't actually put else, but you can actually do that if you want to, right? So now let's run this code here. So this is example 7. So I'll have my GCC example 7.c output, then example 7.exe. So example 7.exe. So why is it taking time? Oh, it's actually showing me empty. So I have to do this. Printf, please enter the number. Okay, so let's run this again. I have to compile it again. Please enter the number. So let's assume I enter 45. So it's not actually printing anything, right? Because 45 is actually greater than 0. Yes, so 45 modulus 2 is actually 1. So 1 is not equal to 0. So it's not actually, since this statement is false, it's not printing anything. So assuming that there is an else here like this, if the statement is false, you print out something here. Now this is an odd number, right? Something like this. Then that is where this 45 will work. So let's compile this again. Now let's run this. So if I put 45 here again, I can see 45 is an odd number. You understand? So let's try to run it again. Let me put 46. Now this will return even number, right? 40 is an even number because the remainder 46 divided by 2 is actually, so the remainder of is 0. So is 0 equal to 0? Then yes, it's return this, right? So you can see that is just an if. How we can easily run this. So you can also put your outer itself like this. If this one is not true, then we can say that we can say that this number is lesser than 0. Okay, so let's recompile this. So let me put minus. If I put minus 3, so it gives me it's less than 0. So it comes here to give me this. So assuming there's no else here, it will not actually give me anything. So in the next video, we're going to be looking at loops, right? So we'll look at the while loop and the for loop and then the nested loop. So thank you and God bless you. Right. Thank you and God bless you.